We are days away from the biggest election in your lifetime. A lot has happened this week, and we're going to cover it all on Wolves in Finance. The week started out with ABC News and Ipsos releasing a new poll. This shows Kamala Harris will win the 2024 election by 4 percentage points. They are claiming that Kamala Harris is going to win. Now, if you know anything about polling, you really need to dig a little deeper to understand what they're saying. In this case, if we look at the responses by demographics, this ABC poll shows that support from the black men surveyed increased dramatically from 2020. In the exit polls in 2020, Joe Biden received 79% of the black male vote. ABC claims that their response rate in 2024 from black men has increased to 85%, or 6 percentage points. This is an absurd amount and has started raising some questions for me. Is ABC trying to gaslight everyone into thinking Kamala Harris can win? Because this poll is telling us that Kamala can only win if black men increase their support. I have a hard time believing that is happening.
All right, this is the Democratic margin among black men under the age of 45 in presidential elections. You go back to November of 2012, what do you see? You see Obama by 81. Clinton only won him by 63. Then we're all the way down to Biden last time around by 53. A tremendous drop already. And then you take a look at the average of the most recent polls, and Kamala Harris is up by only 41 points. That is about half the margin that Obama won them by back in November of 2012. And this, I think, is, when Barack Obama goes in last week when he was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, essentially talking to young black men, he made it seem like it was a Kamala Harris specific problem. This is part of a long-standing trend of young black men moving away from the Democratic Party, and Kamala Harris is just the latest to face that magnitude of younger black men going towards the Republicans.
So these other polls are suggesting that support for Trump among black men is increasing. This would suggest that the numbers in the ABC poll are going in the opposite direction. Let's look at a poll of polls. This takes the results from all the major polls and averages them together. We can see that the ABC poll is skewed compared to all the other polls, and the average of all of them together is that Trump is winning by 0.2 points. So in my opinion, this ABC poll is actually really bad for Kamala. If you make an adjustment to reduce Kamala's support from black men, it means that she loses by a landslide. To make matters worse for Kamala, people have started booing at her rallies. She tried to do a rally in Texas. Listen to this. Then she went to Michigan, and this happened.
We have before us to turn the page on the fear
I have never seen anything like this before. We are days away from the election, and she cannot even say a word at her own rally because there are so many boos. One of the reasons for the boos has to do with Beyoncé. In fact, people are starting to call this Beyoncegate. I want to walk you through this because I think it explains a lot about what is going on. People thought that Beyoncé was going to perform at that rally in Texas. There were all these newspaper articles written saying that Beyoncé was going to perform.
We have learned from 3 sources our team has that Beyoncé will appear with Vice President Harris tomorrow in Houston, Texas. And the source says that Beyoncé will perform during that appearance in Texas, obviously where she's from.
So all these people in the crowd showed up thinking they were going to get a free Beyoncé concert. But that's not what happened. Beyoncé spoke for 4 minutes and then walked off the stage. Now, newspapers don't just print random stories. Someone at the Kamala campaign had to have told all those newspapers that Beyoncé was going to perform. Otherwise, they would not have printed those stories. But it gets worse. The rumor is that Beyoncé was paid $10 million for her endorsement and speech at the rally. Now, this has not been confirmed. It's just a rumor. But if it's true, this woman just got $10 million for a 4-minute speech, and she did not even sing. And let me just say, she doesn't look that happy to be there. Am I crazy? Let me know down in the comments. Does she look happy to you? This really makes me mad. We're sitting here, we can't even afford groceries, and this woman is getting $10 million. If Kamala wins the election, I hope she doesn't run the country like this. If I was at that rally, I would have booed too. To emphasize this point, here's a chart comparing the campaign spending between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. According to these numbers, Kamala certainly likes to go shopping. Kamala is spending enormous amounts of money, and she's still losing. She has spent more than double Donald Trump. Who is giving her all of this money? Because it doesn't seem like she's spending it very well. Maybe she shouldn't be giving $10 million to Beyoncé. In contrast to Kamala's rallies, Donald Trump threw a massive, sold-out rally at Madison Square Garden. No Beyoncé, no big performances, it was all about Trump. And it sold out. As he walked on stage, the whole arena was singing, "God bless the USA." And then he said this.
Kamala, you're fired. Get out, get out. You're fired.
Just so you understand how big this was, Madison Square Garden holds 20,000 people. The police reported that tens of thousands were rallying outside the arena. There were so many people there, they could have sold out Madison Square Garden twice. This is in the deep blue state of New York. The mainstream media lost their minds.
But that jamboree happening right now, you see it there on your screen, in that place is particularly chilling. Because in 1939, more than 20,000 supporters of a different fascist leader, Adolf Hitler, packed the garden for a so-called pro-America rally. A rally where speakers voiced anti-Semitic rhetoric from a stage draped with Nazi banners.
MSNBC reported that Trump's rally was significant because Hitler held a rally there 85 years ago. Excuse me? There have been thousands of events at Madison Square Garden in the last 85 years. Does that mean that all of them are related to the Hitler rally? MSNBC conveniently forgot to mention this rally by Bill Clinton at the same location in the 90s. Also, it's really hard to consider Trump to be Hitler when there are Jewish flags flying at Trump's rally. How does MSNBC explain that? It is also hard to consider Trump to be Hitler when there are Jewish, Black, and Hindu speakers at the rally. How does MSNBC explain that? I also find it curious that this week, Kamala Harris held her own rally at the Washington, D.C. National Mall. That happens to be the same location where the KKK rallied in 1924. Why didn't MSNBC report on that? How about this photo of the KKK that was taken at the 1924 Democratic National Convention? Why didn't MSNBC report on that? Then AOC went on the news.
There's a couple of things. As you mentioned, this was a hate rally. Mm-hmm. This was not just a presidential rally. This was also not just a campaign rally. I think it's very important for people to understand that these are mini January 6 rallies.
She called the rally a mini January 6. What are these people talking about? How is this rally a mini January 6? These people are not even making logical sense. I find it really hypocritical for the Democrats to be calling people Nazis. Must I remind you that it was Hillary Clinton who wants to send people to re-education camps?
And sadly, so many of those extremists, those MAGA extremists, take their marching orders from Donald Trump, who has no credibility left by any measure. He's only in it for himself. He's now defending himself in civil actions and criminal actions. And when do they break with him? Because at some point, maybe there needs to be a formal deprogramming of the cult members, but something needs to happen.
Did I hear that right? She said a formal deprogramming of the cult members? She's talking about half the country. Can I just ask, who all wants to hang out with me when we all get sent to the re-education camps? Because you all know that I'm going to be sent there. So I find it really ridiculous that the Democrats are calling other people the Nazis. But it gets worse. Remember I showed you that rally with Kamala Harris wearing a brown suit? Well, you know who else used to wear a brown suit? I'm just saying. Now, I'm not calling Kamala Harris Hitler. I don't think that anyone should be called Hitler. I think that MSNBC's reporting is ridiculous. But I've got to say that these outfits do look really similar. There was a movie that was made in 1942 called Casablanca. It's famous for being an incredibly romantic story. But if you remember the context of the film, it's taking place during World War II, where the Nazis are spreading across Europe. And all these refugees are fleeing Europe, and they're at this bar in Casablanca, trying to get to America. I think it's important during this election to ask ourselves, why did all these people risk their lives to get to America? Why did they want to come here? It's because America stood for freedom, opportunity, and an escape from tyranny. Now ask yourselves, if those refugees during World War II had the chance to vote in this election, who do you think they would vote for? I am betting they would not vote for the person trying to take away your freedom of speech. Now, I know that there are people out there who have problems with Donald Trump's tweets, but it doesn't take much to see that those problems don't amount to a hill of beans in this crazy world. Another criticism of Kamala Harris is that she keeps changing her accent. I find this very strange, and I wanted to show this because I don't think a lot of people realize how bad this has gotten. Here's a clip of Kamala Harris speaking at a black church in Philadelphia, and it appears that she's doing a black accent, whatever that would be.
Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. The path may seem hard, the work may seem heavy, but joy cometh in the morning, and church morning is on its way.
Now, I have listened to a lot of video of Kamala talking. She doesn't normally talk like this. Why is she changing her accent at a black church? Then Kamala went to Georgia and suddenly had a Southern accent.
I took them on and I won. Well, Georgia, in 12 days, it's Donald Trump's turn.
Then Kamala went to the Congressional Hispanic Caucus Institute's annual leadership conference, and she suddenly had a Latino accent.
Please have a seat. Please have a seat. Please have a seat. Oh, it's good to see so many friends. I love you back.
This is getting out of control. Does this seem like pandering to anybody? Trump doesn't do this. When Donald Trump speaks, you get Trump. There was an older clip that resurfaced this week. This is Kamala speaking to a room of French scientists. And now she has a French accent.
With us in government, we campaign with the plan. Uppercase T, uppercase P, the plan. And then the environment is such that we're expected to defend the plan. Even when the first time we roll it out, there may be some glitches and it's time to reevaluate and then do it again.
What is going on? Is this really how French people talk? The plan! If anyone knows anyone who is French, can you please confirm in the comments if this is how French people talk? First of all, I'm not sure that's a very accurate accent. And second, I think it's a little offensive. Then there were the results of the cookie poll. Every election, a bakery in Minnesota puts out cookies labeled with the candidates' names, and they record the results on how many cookies get eaten leading up to the election.
This is day one for us, and we're going to do them all the way through the end of business day on election day.
All the Trump ones were gone. They're refilling them.
It'll be a long process. It'll be a fun one. It'll be interesting, and we'll see who sells the most.
Now, you might make fun of this polling method, but it has actually been very accurate. This cookie poll has accurately predicted the winner in every presidential election since 1984. All except for 2020. For some reason, it did not predict that Joe Biden would win in 2020, which is strange. I wonder if anything bizarre happened in the 2020 election that would account for the difference. But regardless, the results are in for the 2024 election, and Donald Trump is winning the cookie poll. 5,966 cookies to 3,124 cookies. This is a massive difference. It's not even close. We need to be paying attention to these cookies.
Each cookie is $4.50. The last election, we did roughly a little around 18,000 cookies. The cake decorators will have very strong forearms by the time this is all over with. It's a sugar cookie with our made-from-scratch buttercream on top. All hand-piped, all decorated by hand.
I'm not gonna lie. This story is making me kind of hungry. I've got to go get me some of those cookies. Even crazier than the cookie poll was the video game scandal that happened this week. Tim Walz has been trying to improve Kamala Harris's polling among young men. So he arranged to do a live stream on Twitch of him playing video games with AOC.
Let's do this thing.
Oh, no.
All right.
A good quarterback. You got a good quarterback.
He is. He is a good quarterback.
First tone of the game for James Cook.
Nice run.
I tried. See, you're a pro though, so you can call these audibles.
Well, I think I know what these guys are doing, but I don't know which damn button to push to make my guy be a beast.
Now, how much do you want to bet that he's not actually playing this game? Now, I don't have any proof of this, but I would bet that some intern is sitting in the corner and is the person actually playing the game. I don't believe that Tim Walz is playing this video game. Then these photos came out from the live stream. Do you notice anything funny about this photo? It looks like the video game controller is not even turned on. This is what a controller looks like. When it's on, the button is generating light. Well, you can see from the shadow on Tim Walz's thumb that there is no light coming off of that button. I think this photo is staged. I think he's just sitting there pretending to play the game. Do you notice how we don't see the screen? This reminds me of the photo shoot that Kamala Harris did. This was supposed to be her on a phone call with FEMA after Hurricane Helene. The hurricane devastated multiple states. People were dying, and Kamala was on the phone with FEMA addressing the crisis. Except her headphones were not plugged into the phone. She was not talking to anybody. Is this why all those Americans never received any help? I don't know what you think, but I think that Kamala and Tim, rather than staging photo shoots, should go out and actually do something. Anything. Then Joe Biden called MAGA supporters garbage.
In my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization is seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
The sitting president just called all of Donald Trump's supporters garbage. Excuse me? Is he calling me a piece of garbage? Am I the garbage? Here's a map of all the counties in America that are primarily Republican. Are all of these people garbage? I don't know how you feel, but I would rather be garbage than vote for Kamala Harris. Joe Biden released a tweet trying to apologize for his statements, but I heard what he said. Did you hear what he said? He clearly said that half of America was garbage. Here's what the people in Michigan heard.
You saw those comments from Joe Biden.
Well, I thought that was a bunch of garbage is what I thought. I thought, oh my gosh, first we're deplorables and now we're garbage. No way. We are the heartbeat of America. We are the United States of America. We are the patriots. We need to get Trump back in office is what I thought.
Well said.
Then Trump supporters started dressing up in garbage cans. More supporters started dressing up in garbage bags. Then Donald Trump got himself a garbage truck and started driving around Wisconsin.
How do you like my garbage truck? This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden.
Joe Biden's comments are clearly backfiring. If you think that things could not get any worse for the Democrats, think again. Because Joe Biden started eating babies. The White House threw a Halloween party. At the event, Joe Biden tried to bite the leg of a baby that was dressed as a chicken. What's going on here? Did he think the baby was really a chicken? I have to be dreaming. This can't be reality. Normally politicians will kiss the babies, but I never heard of a politician trying to eat them. Now, if you think this is just one random moment caught on camera, no, he did it a second time. Here is the second baby that Joe Biden tries to eat. Joe Biden puts the baby's foot in his mouth. I'm getting very disturbed by this. Why is Joe Biden eating babies? Can someone please explain this to me in the comments? But I want to show you now the most shocking trend of the week. Trump supporters have started posting dances on TikTok. They're calling it their November victory dance for when Donald Trump wins the election. I can't believe what I'm seeing. I have followed politics for some time. I have never seen anything like this before. All these dancers are trending on TikTok. People are dancing in the streets for this man. There is so much excitement about voting. People are getting involved. They're happy. They believe in what they're doing. This means something to them. They believe in freedom. They believe in justice. They believe in the promise that they can achieve the American dream. They want to make America great again. And most importantly, they believe they are going to win. When a lot of people talk about elections, they talk about polls and speeches. That's not what I look at. I look at these people dancing. And these people are telling me that Donald Trump is about to win. I don't know what you're waiting for, but I'm going to start practicing my victory dance. I hope you found this video helpful, and I encourage everyone to go vote. Now I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments down below if you're planning to go vote. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. If you want to support the channel, consider signing up for a monthly membership on my website, wolvesandfinance.com. For $6 a month, your support helps me to keep making these videos. I want to give a big thank you for everyone who is supporting. I'm Zach from Wolves and Finance. Thank you for watching.